I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Kelton.
Here.
Roush.
Here.
Hush.
Here.
Delaney.
Here.
Oliphant.
Here.
I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Kelchen.
Second.
Second by Oliphant. All in favor?
Aye.
At this point, we have public comment. You have a limit of 3 minutes per person on agenda items and local government issues.
Yes, I have some numbers I would like to share with council in regard to dog parks. I was at a park board meeting this week, or in the last 2 weeks, and a pickleball meeting. And I guess we senior citizens are supposed to dig in our own pockets to fence a pickleball court, or get a new pickleball court, or stripe a basketball court. And we pay taxes here too, and I think it's really not fair to be building a dog park in a place where nobody is more than 3 minutes from an open space to run a dog. And dog parks are really extraneous, and here's some figures. Bellevue, population 2,349 people, no dog park. Monticello, Iowa, population 4,040, no dog park. Dyersville, Iowa, 4,477, yes, they have a dog park. Farley, Iowa, 1,766 population, no dog park. Epworth, 2,023, yes, they have a dog park adjacent to the baseball diamond. Peosta, Iowa, probably the wealthiest neighborhood, or the wealthiest community in the neighborhood, 1,908 citizens, no dog park. I really think that it is such an imposition, and most of the citizens, senior citizens in this community are on fixed incomes. And some of them are not fixed very high, all right? Some of them are, but that's not the issue. The issue is senior citizens should get some of that budget along with young families. Most of the playing fields are for young people. The pool predominantly is for young people. And earlier in the year, I mean, I have the agenda here, item where you spend almost $10,000 on a little pad for the kids to land on underneath one of the slides in the pool. And
You're required to do that for insurance
well,
purposes.
then why were we discussing it like it was an optional item? I mean,
It was
should have
that-
been
it
part
was
of
that
the
pad
basic-
or the
if you
slope
were-
steps.
If it was required, it should have been just part of the thing, shouldn't it?
Well, it doesn't give me the authority, even if it's required by law, to just go out and spend it. So that's why the council would discuss it regardless.
Well, I mean, somebody just should have said, we don't have any choice in this matter. Done deal. Cost,
Well, yeah, that was either to spend the money on the pad or to put stairs,
or what?
or to put stairs on that slide.
Remember,
So
we
that's-
canceled
That's
this
where we
pad.
Oh, there was an alternative. I didn't get the alternative. I thought,
Yep.
That's why we
You
went
know-
with steps.
let them
Over.
stub their toes. They'll grow up faster.
I will mention to the council that the pickleballers were here. I am meeting with them this week because we are talking about it. But it's a little apples and oranges. Obviously Shirley has a right to her opinion on dog park, no dog park. But I'm applying for a grant this week for $20,000, and we can spend between 20 and 30 for the dog park. And a single pickleball court is estimated between 35 and 40,000, and they were requesting 4. So when you look at spending $250,000 on pickleball versus potentially, if we got the grant, $10,000, like, it's not that money couldn't be diverted from a dog park to the pickleball, but it's definitely an apples and oranges conversation when it comes to the dollars required.
And the main reason a dog park is even in consideration is it was identified during the Heart and Soul process as a major item that people are interested in this community. So that's kind of kicked off why we even started exploring.
Everybody has their wants.
Did we look into that? Because isn't our grievance with the current pickleball courts the paint?
Well, Riley had brought it
I
up.
emailed Lisa on it
I'm
yesterday.
guessing it's not under warranty. It was Manats that did the that work, and it's over 3 years old. So I highly doubt that surface is still under warranty, but Phil was gone today. And so I'll talk to him about it tomorrow.
And the surface alone was like 21 or 22.
Yeah, Riley asked for it, so I printed off.
When we did it.
Probably spent like 60,000 almost on the various things on the tennis courts.
Yeah, because it was new fence.
It was like
Fence.
blasting
Power
it,
washing.
fencing it,
And they,
painting it.
well, yeah, they pinned the cracks together.
Yeah.
And then put mortar in there that was not supposed to move, because at one point we talked about just trying to go on top of the surface or getting rid of that, because we knew cracks would shadow up through if we were just to lay a surface on it. So this was supposed to be the foolproof
Fix.
answer to not have crack shadow back through.
Yep.
And the paint was always a thing, if it was gonna hold or not. It was always a problem.
With the
before.
moisture.
But that's why we spent extra money,
to put a vapor barrier down.
and we spent extra money on specific paint that was supposed to hold that.
Right. That was like 3 years ago?
They're a little over 3.
Yeah. And that's when we
Was-
put in the pickleball courts and set it up for that
Yep.
3 years ago.
I have a comment that doesn't deserve to wait till the end. I'd like to put out a huge thank you to Lisa, Chantel, Linda, all the hometown committee, all the volunteers, sponsors, donors for absolutely hitting it out of the park for Hometown Days weekend. You couldn't ask for something to spotlight your city better than what these folks did, so they deserve a big hand.
Thanks. We all had
Thanks
fun.
everybody that was involved in that. That was awesome. All the comments you heard from people was just through the roof positive. It was great.
Thank you.
And you did good with the weather, too.
Yes. I was the chairman of the weather committee.
Number 6, introduction of Sean Chambers, Director of Community and Business Promotion. You have the floor.
All right. We'll make this quick. I'm only 5 days into the job here. It's going really, really awesome so far. I'm really excited. Getting a taste. I did come down to Hometown Days on Friday and got a taste of that, and that was awesome. Really good glimpse of the community. Working already on the Sunset Street Market, which is coming up on October 6th, and hope we see you all there. And I look forward to working with all of you.
Welcome.
Welcome to Cascade, John.
Number 7, consent agenda. Minutes, City Council, 8/14/23, 8/21/23, 8/25/23, and Utility Board, 8/15/23. August 28th, 2023 claims. Liquor licenses, 2 Gingers, September 16th, 2023 for outdoor premises, First Avenue and Lincoln. Casey's General Store for their annual renewal. If there's no questions, I need a motion on the consent agenda.
I have a question. There's a charge for Pittsburgh Tank and Tower Company, a tank dive cleanout completion. Is that related
Yes.
to?
Required for the water tower.
Okay,
So that's the actual tower itself.
gotcha.
Any other concerns? If none, I need a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by
Second.
Roush, second by Kelchin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Or we need a roll call for that.
No, you're good.
Okay. Number 8, presentation from Austin Diller on Eagle Scout Project, the historic audio tour.
Hello. So I'm Austin, and I am a Cascade Scout. I'm currently a Life Scout, and this is one of my requirements to become an Eagle Scout. I need to do my project. So what I think would be a good project is going to be an audio history tour of Cascade. So basically, it would be either you would walk around to different areas in Cascade, like the silo, the jail, and the Red Paper Museum, or talk about the McGinty murder that happened in Cascade. And I would have residents or a narrator talk about these stories and bring these stories to younger generations for them to experience. So they would be able to, get all this history and have it all in one place. instead of, in books where most of the younger generation doesn't like to read. So it would be in a digital format where they would be able to figure it out. I need a support from the city to continue my project, and I would encourage local businesses to help out. Like maybe for fundraising for it, I go to Brothers and set up the roundup for an Eagle project for fundraising. And I might start it at the museum, have them go through the museum, and then walk around the rest of the town. Do any of you have any questions on my project?
What kind of financial support are you looking for from the council?
I don't need any. I would fundraise on my own.
Great.
I just need approval from the city council because you would be the beneficiaries of the project.
Austin, what kind of format will the project be? I mean, if somebody goes, will it be something when you go to the old silo, for example, that there'll be something there, or is it something where you'll just present different options in some form?
So I was either thinking maybe QR codes at the locations,
Okay.
or a maybe better option would be putting it all on, say, a podcast. So then people can go at their own pace and just, if they don't want to walk around, they can just listen to them. So then they don't necessarily go to those places if they want to remember the history and read all the history.
Okay.
Could you also put it like on our city YouTube channel?
I could, if you would like me to.
We,
I think both would be a great option, actually.
I do too.
You could QR code if you were there to it, listen to it as you're sitting there, or you could look up the podcast if you're not and just want to listen to the history. So I think both would be good.
like when we've gone to like DC and like Boston, like they have these at a lot of the like kind of historical landmarks, so it's like a great opportunity. I mean, like you said, to share the stories and the history of the community in a new technologically advanced way.
I definitely think if you could do like the whole thing, that would be one tool for people to go on it, but I definitely think it would be great to create a clip of each individual location that you're going to talk about, so that if someone just has no idea that you have this tour, but they go there, they at least can learn about the 2 or 3 minutes that you talk about where they are at.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, if I did it in podcast format, I'd do it like separate episodes for different
Mhm.
areas. And maybe that QR code would just bring you to that episode
Correct.
of that
I think that's a good idea.
area.
Great idea.
Perfect.
Great.
So would you like the council to make a motion to approve your project, or else, otherwise you guys can give your okay, and then I think I just have to sign it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. This is the first time I've done this. So
I'll make a motion to approve this project.
I'll
Motion by
second it.
Delaney, second by Oliphant. All in favor?
Aye.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Austin.
Thank you.
Number 9, consideration of resolution number 67-23 to approval for an ambulance study.
So you'll recall that we applied for a DRA grant to be able to evaluate the kind of practical future of the ambulance service, with a goal being that we would continue to have it be owned and operated by the city versus sometimes communities that are not able to sustain a public agency end up having to privatize. So we were successful in receiving the DRA grant for $16,264, which would leave a balance of $3,236 for the city to contribute. That would come from the ambulance budget, and we would discuss with the townships about billing a portion of it to them. They're ready to go right away, the consultants, if the council approves that tonight. We also had KWWL here. They picked up on that, I think, because we send out the agenda packet to somebody. So the news crews were here and spoke to me. Who else talked to him? Somebody else. Can't remember. But I heard from someone already that it was on the 4 o'clock unless I'm a 4 o'clock or 4:30 something, but.
It was on.
Yep, so they just asked me about like, where are we at, you know, kind of explaining that we right now really only have 9 people. According to Mike, the information that I got was we have 9 people on the roster. The practical reality is that only 4 people respond. We are providing a basic level of service unless we have the 2 nurses or 2 paramedics respond to the call, then we're able to give advanced care. We've had about 220 calls around those. That's around the number per year. They asked about our response time, which in a good day when people are able to respond immediately, it takes about 10 minutes. If there's a second page that goes out and we still respond ourselves, it's 10 to 15. And then if we have to call out another agency, it's obviously longer. So these gentlemen that own this business advocate absolutely for public sector. That's what they've done, and they will be able to go through this with us. And within the next 6 or so months, after meeting with many people involved in the process, would come back to the council with some recommendations on where they think that we can have but they made it clear, like, they're not gonna come here and say this is what you should do is privatize. Like, they're gonna try to help you do things to retain a public agency, which I think is our first goal. So if you are willing to approve the total amount of $19,500 with $32.36 coming from the city, it is Resolution 67-23.
I need a motion on this resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Delaney,
I'll second.
second by Oliphant. Roll call.
Felton.
Aye.
Roush.
Aye.
Hush.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Number 10, consideration of resolution number 68-23, approval to complete asphalt work on Second Avenue.
You'll recall we received transportation funds from the county that was approved, and we hired Eastern Iowa Excavating at the special council meeting to complete the stormwater improvements and concrete work. We received 2 quotes, both from River City Paving and Kleesner, and the low bid was from, or the low quote was from River City Paving in the amount of $36,289. We'd like to get that work done in the fall, not only because of the grant funding, but also so that it doesn't interfere with the pool being open in the spring in the event that the weather's not fabulous and the pool's open. That also would include not having angled parking. I think we talked about that briefly when we had our special meeting the other day, but there would still be parking as it is right now, continued to that pillar. From street building opinions, it was less safe to have angled parking on a 2-way street where people heading eastbound would then try to finagle themselves if they wanted to park on the north side of the road to try and finagle on a backwards turn. So they felt like we needed to keep it. And then because we're having the sidewalk in the front of it, at least that creates a safer environment where people aren't trying to go to the back of their car. So if the council's willing to approve, Resolution 68-23 would be the $36,289 for River City Paving.
So that goes all the way up to Tyler, right?
Yeah.
It'll.
The road
Oh,
itself is
yeah.
Tyler to Jackson,
Yeah, Tyler
and
to-
parking is existing
Yeah.
parking to the pillar.
Yep, yeah, I just know it gets really, really wide there. at
Yep.
Yep.
Second and Tyler.
We
I need
had
a-
measured it already and then
Yep.
kind of made it clear, like, how many lifts, you have to use a rubber thing to, sometimes if you only use the steel roller,
Yep.
that it doesn't end up as well, so.
I need a motion on this resolution.
I'll make a motion on resolution
68-23, motion by Kelchin,
Second.
second by Oliphant. Roll call.
Roush.
Aye.
Hush.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Felton.
Aye.
Number 11, consideration of resolution number 69-23, approval of a change order to Third Avenue Southeast construction.
These were changes that we need to make in the field, but we always talked about that we want to still, make sure we memorialize when there's a change. So the first item was that at the Presbyterian Church, we were not aware until we were digging that there was a sewer service that needed to be replaced. I think they thought it was on Polk Street. We also had to replace a different size pipe on the Smith residence. Then when we were out there on the west end, as you know, that was part of the conversations that we've had with the Kerpers about the drainage on Taylor as it moves between 2nd and 3rd and 3rd and 4th, heading southbound. And then on this stretch of 3rd Avenue, the water that heads west. So in the field, we determined that digging out a little bit more and kind of creating a different level of pavement would allow, there's a catch basin on the west side, right in the middle of the intersection, kind of between, I think, Mrs. Holmes and the Red Barn that Kerper's own. So when you're on the west side of the road, then that pipe goes straight over to the river. So there was enough of a hump in the middle of the intersection that that water was not able to get from the east side of Taylor to the west side and then get to that catch basin. So we had to cut back the pavement. And then obviously you only have a certain amount of length to be able to make it a proper flow from the best elevation that we can get on the curb and gutter from that corner over to there. So that was 10,000 of it. And then there was just a slight miscalculation on MSA's part about the amount of sidewalk replacement, and so there was $1,700. So in the end, the original price was $103, and the final price, which was on your list of bills tonight, would be $120,068. And then on the resolution, or on the exhibit to the resolution, you can see how we divided it between water, sewer, and streets.
Is there any other questions? If there's none, I need a motion on resolution number 69-23.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Delaney,
Second.
second by Roush. Roll call.
Hush.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Kelchen.
Aye.
Roush.
Aye.
Number 12, consideration of resolution number 66-23, fees for vacant building registration.
So now that the ordinance is adopted as the third reading at the last council meeting, there was a reference in there that by resolution, we had to establish the fees. It refers to, first of all, that there will be an initial fee, and that continuing on in future years, it will be higher, and it talks about having an increase every year. So after consulting with the attorney, just kind of trying to get a feel for what he thought was reasonable, we came up with $250 for the first year, and that it would go up each year by $50 after that, so that the first anniversary or the first year it would be $300, $350, and so on.
Is there any questions about resolution number 66-23?
I guess I'm just questioning the, is there a period of time before the initial, that the building can remain vacant before? I mean, is it 30 days or when does, basically pertains to the ordinance we already have, I guess, but I was just curious, is there a period of time? I mean, if
You're saying like as soon as it's vacant, that you have to like register it right now?
I
Is
mean,
that
is it
what you're saying?
specified that, is it a 90-day period before it becomes a vacant building?
I'd have to grab out the ordinance just because I didn't know you were going to ask that and it's not in the packet. I don't recall that. I know that it does talk about that if you register the building and then there's like a 3-tiered refund to the fee depending on from the date that you paid it. If you like are not vacant, you know, if it's like in 3 months you rent it out after you paid, or it was like 6 to 9 or something like that where you'd actually get your money back. I recall that, but it's a pretty long ordinance. I can look. I don't recall.
Okay.
I don't remember anything specifically calling out like how long it can be vacant before.
Right. I mean, obviously, we're not going to say like, oh, like Megan moved out as the tenant and you're doing some work for,
Yeah.
But I do think.
The
we
next
probably-
30 days.
I mean, to not have problems with it, I mean, I think you almost have to, at some point,
Within 120 days of the building becoming vacant.
No, it is.
Is that what it is?
is
It's
called
spec-
that.
Passed out.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't have it in front of me.
Okay.
Thanks,
I
Andy.
just, yeah.
Pulled out the old
Okay.
packet.
that's fine, I
Thanks.
just,
Yeah,
I just didn't recall.
applicability is
So it
the-
basically gives people, you know, sometimes there's even in residential, you know, sometimes you have a month where you want to get something done or the other person's not ready to go, and so that would definitely give a little leeway.
Okay, that's fine.
Thanks, Andy.
I have
Yep.
two questions. Just once for my understanding, and then so it's $250 the first year for anybody and everybody, and then it would go to $300 for anybody and everybody. Like it's not like okay, so you were vacant for a year, then it goes up 50.
They call it an initial fee and then a renewal of your permit.
So is the renewal $50 more, or is the initial fee for everybody?
Oh, like you're saying, like if you're vacant in 2 years, are you $350?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Everybody's first year is $250,
Okay.
and then everybody's
Gotcha.
first renewal is $300. So
So
even
then
if there's
it'll
like a
keep
3-year
stepping up.
gap, I mean, obviously at some point we could say, we're gonna raise it. But right now, it's whether you're 23, 24, 25, that you have your first time where it's vacant. Right now, according to this resolution, you would pay $250. And then it's when you renew at your individual property is when it goes up.
Okay.
And it's per
Good question.
property, I want to clarify,
Yes.
not per owner.
Correct.
Thank you.
And again, this could be, one of the things that I talked to the attorney about is he said that most cities that have this ordinance have full-time staff for inspections, whereas remember for us, so this might be a little bit higher if somebody says that, but we have to pay Craig, the inspector, to come here. And so really, I don't even know that this is gonna, there will probably be some level of this budget expense when we're paying him to come that may not be covered by these fees. But the attorney did not think, like I was like, oh, we should go to this amount, because by the time he drives here, inspects it, goes home, writes up something for me, it'll probably be more than this. But it's kind of a cost of doing business, I would say, for us being more, looking at trying to correct these properties more. And so that's kind of where he said, like, even if, he's like, most cities don't have to worry about that because it's just like me, where you're just deciding what I'm doing in the course of a day. We're not paying me more because I'm working on this versus something else.
That was my next question, so.
Any other questions? If none, I need a motion on resolution number 66-23.
I'll make a motion on resolution 66.
Motion by Kelchen,
Second.
second by Oliphant. Roll call.
Delaney.
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Kelchen.
Aye.
Roush.
Aye.
Hush.
Number 13, consideration of ordinance number 11-23, requirement of a tracer wire box bracket for plastic water service lines. And this will be the third and final reading.
So again, probably no questions, but this is our third reading, and back last year when we allowed to no longer solely require type K copper for our water service pipes, and we allowed them to have the copper tubing, which is a plastic material. We, back then, required there to be a tracer wire box. We since then discovered that there was this bracket that will hold the tracer wire box to the curb stop, and felt that that was the best way to make sure that they weren't getting buried in the ground and harder to find. So this would require that. We purchased 12 of them, so they'd be in stock for anybody that's interested in having this plastic tubing.
Need a motion on the ordinance?
Make a motion to approve ordinance 11-23.
Motion by Roush,
Second.
second by Kelchen. Roll call.
Oliphant. Aye. Kelchen.
Aye.
Roush.
Aye.
Hush.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Number 14, consideration of ordinance number 10-23, limitation on garage or rummage sales, and this is the first of 3 readings.
So most of this ordinance is what we had seen the last time. There was a conversation, as you know, that we had with the concern that someone could transport their residential goods from rummage sale A location in a house to a commercial or industrial property. So on page 37 of your packet, letter E says it shall be further prohibited for any person to conduct sale of items regulated by this chapter by relocating merchandise from residential zoned property to any other zoning class to avoid application. So that's what Attorney Pat O'Connell had written for us. And then he also added the nuisance declaration, where he wants to make sure that this is also defined in our nuisance chapter instead of just having this separate garage sale chapter. So based on this being a pretty new topic for the community, I would suggest that we stick with the normal 3 readings.
Any questions? If none, I need a motion on ordinance number 10-23.
I'll make a motion on 10-23.
Motion by Oliphant,
Second.
second by Kelchen. Roll call.
Kelchen.
Aye.
Roush.
Aye.
Hush.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Number 15, consideration of ordinance number 12-23, permits for fences, signs, and concrete.
So we discussed this last time, so this would be the second reading. I also listed it on the agenda that you could have a motion to do the second and third tonight, for the reason being that we talked about, which is there are other snippets in the ordinance that requires permits for concrete, fences, and signage. It just wasn't consolidated well in the building permit. So if the council would like to, you could make the first motion to do the second and third reading at one meeting and then actually adopt the ordinance, or if you want to, you can wait till the next time.
I would ask for a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion to waive the second and the third at this meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by Kelchen, second by Roush. Roll call.
Hush.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Kelchen.
Aye.
Roush.
Aye.
And does that waive the second and third readings?
Yep, so then you go back to the original underlying motion, which would be ordinance 12-23.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1223.
Motion by Kelchen,
I'll second.
second by Roush. Roll call.
Roush.
Aye.
Hush.
Aye.
Delaney.
Aye.
Oliphant.
Aye.
Kelchen.
Aye.
Number 16, consideration of ordinance number 14-23, trees.
So this is our second reading. You'll remember we did change it at the last meeting where we had 14 days. So if you look on page 43, based on the council's discussion last time, we are now at obtaining a contract for 30 days to remove a tree, to have 60 days under the normal protocol to remove it, and that they may make a written request to me for an extension from 60 up to an additional 90 or a total of 5 months. So that's how it is currently written. And again, I listed it for the potential for the second and third reading, only because we have so many trees and kind of getting that process started. If you choose to wait another 2 weeks, I'm not going to send out tree letters till you're done, so up to the council.
Do the 30 and 60 days overlap?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still really struggling with this. I don't think it's enough time.
That's pretty tight considering how busy all the tree people are.
And I think the financial burden of it is a huge issue. I just don't like this. I'm sorry.
People have known ash borer was a thing for 4 years.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
worked its way across.
We've known about it, but it doesn't mean that they've been saving for it.
But
I think
Trees
it's
also
the
don't-
safety thing is
And
the
like trees
reason.
don't die overnight. Like it's usually
Slow.
a gradual process.
You'll have one dead limb 1 year, and then the next year it'll be half the tree, and slowly goes downhill.
You know, if it was only about cosmetic things, I think it's just, like, people can get killed from trees that are dead and diseased. And again, I would say, and I get it, you know, but that doesn't mean that if somebody had an absolute hardship, that we can't do something different. But to automatically give people 5 months, they're automatically gonna take 5 months, and that's, I think.
And I think if you send the letters out and everybody says, oh my God, it's a year before I can get it, then we'll have to look at it. If we don't get it going, it's gonna be
I think you'd
a
give
year
that
before somebody will
consideration.
look at it.
And I do think that
then-
if we, you know, like, we're not just gonna randomly send out one letter at a time, so if there is a larger volume of them, that may also incentivize the tree people to come quicker.
And stay in town longer.
And at the end of the day, like, if somebody didn't do it and was just ignoring us, it gives us the option then to go and do it ourselves. And then we would put it on the tax roll, so they would still not have to pay the bill, even in that case, until the taxes come out. So it would get assessed on their property taxes.
Any other questions? If none, I need a motion to approve second and third readings at one meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1423.
For the
Mo-
second and third readings?
Yep. Motion by
No.
Do you want
Kelchen,
to do this?
We'll do it as 3.
Okay, so this is only for the second
Okay.
reading.
I'll second it.
motion by Kelchen, second by Roush. Roll call.
Delaney.
Aye.
Oliphant.
Nay.
Kelchen.
Aye?
Roush.
Aye.
Hush.
Nay.
And we're going with 3 readings then.
Yep.
Number 17, discussion and consideration on an Iowa Finance Authority mural project on the location, timing, and wall prep expenses.
So, as everybody knows, we won the mural contest. Of course, when you win, you find out more information. So we had 2 locations that we had, well, originally it was 1 location because a building.
Just a point of order.
Yep.
We just did the second and third.
No,
No.
we only did the second. His motion was just to make it a second and have it in 2 weeks again.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Right, that was your intention, Andy?
Correct.
So we'll bring it back one more time.
Okay.
Back to the mural? Okay. So we won, And we had to submit, so Ben, I think he pronounces it Shu, he's the professional mural painter person. So we had a conference call with him and the people from the Iowa Finance Authority. Before that meeting, I had sent him 2 locations. My original thought was that really the only location that we had that wasn't covered in a big enough wall was the corner tap room. And then I was contacted by the new owner of Jackie's J Salon that was sold to Bryce Harrington. She's now the owner and is planning to change the name, so she had heard and kind of got contacted by another business person, so she had reached out to me before. So I sent Ben, the artist, both pictures of the sites and gave him the addresses and everything else, and I figured that he would pick the J Salon because it's a clean palette of, there's no windows
No
on the corner of the,
obstructions.
like there's, if you look on the tap room, even though they're fake windows or
Yep.
they've been covered by the back wall of the bar, they're there and just kind of changes the scape of what it looks like when you're doing the mural. I don't know if you want to Google while you're doing that, since there's really nothing to look at, but Google Ben, SCHUH, like murals or something like that, and then we kind of show the council like what they look like.
SCHU.
Otherwise, if you just type in like Des Moines murals, like his.
I want to look at Knoxville and, what was that, Clarion? Yeah, the Des Moines one's like different, I think, than what he
It's a little
intends to
bit
do.
bigger. It's a lot bigger too.
Yeah.
That's Des Moines, right there.
Yeah, Des Moines isn't as like what we're doing. So anyway, so he picked the J Salon wall because of the clean slate. Sean was in the meeting with me as well, kind of helping with that. So he indicated that that was what he would like to see it be painted on. We do have to have an agreement with Bryce. They are sending me the paperwork. They have to promise. So if you look at Knoxville up there on the screen, guys, behind you.
The middle one.
Yep. I don't know if you can actually click on it. So that one is like the concept of the letters. And basically what he said is you could do something different, but when you create the word Cascade, and then we would give him things that go in the letters, it basically becomes like a copyrighted marketing tool for us. So we could take that digital picture and have like Butch and Frankie's and Hollow Tree and places like that, like sell a t-shirt, sell a mug, different things where you're like using that as, they call it like postcard art. I don't know if you can find the one that's for Clarion or go to his website. Is that his website? Yeah. I don't know though, like I feel like it wasn't on there as much, but it's Clarion. And we really like that one because,
Ooh, I like the one for Prairie City.
there it is on the right.
Bottom. Nope, you went past it.
So what I liked about that instead of Knoxville was not having like just a white background around the words, but the Knoxville letters stuck out more because they had white like around it. So what was not included in winning the mural is prepping the wall. And so I've spoken to a gentleman out of Dyersville that Colby Homes works with. His name is Robbie Phillips, and he does pressure power washing on the
Industrial.
right, on the wall.
Coatings.
So we have to have that done, which I literally just found this out on Friday, so I don't have a price. But we have to get it washed, and then we have to get a painter to create a clean slate. So he's gonna pick, the max size that they can pay for through the state is a 1,500 square foot mural. Can you also now maybe go on, like go to Google Earth or something and like go to Jackie's building, or now Bryce's building? So you don't necessarily have to use the whole building. So I did say to him, like, tell us how big and what it's gonna look like, and tell us what more it would be if we took up the whole building, because the whole building itself is too big. I don't remember the address.
It's 114
It's probably
First
easier that
Avenue
way.
West.
So anyway, so I measured yesterday from the front of the building to, she has like a little service door on the side there. That's 50 feet from the front to the service
To the
door.
back.
Then if you go from the south side of the service door to the electrical boxes, it's another 19 feet. So that's like 50 to 70, somewhere in there. And then Chantel's staff helped me out today to get in the bucket truck and actually measure the height. which I think was like close to 34 maybe from top to bottom. It was like 4 feet under the mural, the circular mural, and then about 28 feet for the mural itself, and then another 3 feet. It was like 31 inches or something like that. Looks really blurry. Anyway, so we obviously have to cover the mural at a minimum. So we've talked to him about he'll give us more feedback, but it's like a latex-based paint. He does it so that the contrast, there's going to be natural fading, but how he does it, the fading should stay with like the contrast. And we sent him a list of things, it's like there aren't 100 things that you can give him and have a big debate about. So like the things that we gave him were the amphitheater, the silo, Red Faber, the museum, baseball itself, kind of the downtown streetscape, with like one of the blocks with the buildings all like brick and close together. The gazebo. What else did I take pictures of? Oh, the jail. Kind of everything Austin's going to have on the tour. So yeah, if you look there now. So it's about 4 feet to the bottom of the circle. It was like 27 and something to the top, and then like 31 more inches. So at least I was able to give him those dimensions. And you can kind of see where that little door is blocked by the cars. So from the front to that door is 50 feet, and then you can see there's like power boxes along the wall. So if you took the door and the wall to that power box, it's another 19. So we'll have more information, but I at least, like, he's planning to do this painting the last week of September or the first week in October. So we don't really have a lot of time. Like, he obviously can't do it when it's cold, and we're supposed to be done, like, soon.
And that's quite a
Maybe
timely
I'll
project.
Talk to Premium too, because Premium's the one that did our
Tennis courts.
Oh,
Yep, I can
yeah.
ask him.
So me and Tom.
Oh, yeah, I bet you they could probably that.
Okay, yep, I'll reach out to Mike. So anyway, I guess I need at least council approval to proceed with these two things. We'll figure out somewhere, I guess. So I think it'll be,
And
Good.
he picked this building over the other one, why so?
It's
because if you
cleaner.
go up the street, Mike.
There's no
there's-
openings in it.
Like, there's windows in the,
I just figured with that base painted on there, you wouldn't notice the old windows.
The-
I know
yeah.
you'd notice the upper windows, but I didn't know if you'd keep it low.
oh, you went too far.
I'm going
Going back.
Oh,
She's
sorry.
reversing.
It's a little touchy.
What?
Mike, too far.
So see, you have those windows down below.
Yeah, I just figured
Yeah.
if you're gonna paint it all a base anyways.
That it's all
it would-
consistent.
It's just more hard, it's just harder to do it.
Yeah.
And he also talked about the fact that, like, there's just not a lot of space even to be safe while you're painting, like, on a big old scaffolding and.
Well, yeah, I just didn't know. I mean, that would be a cool one to keep it low on it. Keep it across the brewery wall. And Cascade would fit lengthwise.
You've got good length there.
You got good length.
Yeah.
The only other thing though is like the other side, like I feel like you have more area to view it from. Like you can see it from the park, you can see it coming down the hill all over the bridge.
The other thing that I talked to Bryce about was, again, Phil was gone, so I'll have Phil and Ben look at it, but ideally, there wouldn't be parking in front of the mural. You know how you like pull into that lot and then park left or right? So I'm gonna have the guys measure if there would be a way to change the parking lot so that you'd come in and either go left and do angled parking or right, and then just have it be only an in from First Avenue. And then you would have like a wall that nobody's parked against for pictures.
Yeah.
This is certainly becoming a much bigger project than we all initially
I
thought.
know. I was like, I literally went back and like read the advertising. I was like, oh, it does say you have to prep the wall, which the power
that's
washing
the
isn't that big
biggest.
of a deal.
Right, right. Yeah.
But it doesn't say like pressure wash and paint. But again, like this is something that'll last for years and years, and
Yeah,
that's
it would
where
be
the-
very cool, I agree.
That's where the power washing and paint prep
it's a big deal,
item.
right?
That-
You could like decrease the size of the mural so that the state would pay for it, but I don't.
While they're there.
Right. I feel like
Yep.
we're probably better to just, I mean, if it's an outrageous number, we'll come back, but hopefully with just white paint, won't be that big of a deal.
Any other questions? If none, I need a motion on the mural project.
What are we making a motion on? Sorry?
Just to make sure that I have the authority to get the
For the-
prepping work done.
Yeah.
And I'll report back. I mean, if I think it's OMG outrageously priced, I'll report back, but
Okay. I'll make a motion to that effect.
Motion by Oliphant,
I'll second.
second by Roush, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Reports, Police Chief, Fred?
Really don't have anything.
Nothing? Library Design Committee?
we are still in the waiting pattern to get the bids. They're still, remember, they're due next week, I guess it is, right? This is Labor Day weekend coming up, so next week, Thursday, so we have about 10 more days. They are going to submit to all the contractors another addendum for some things that they found out via state code, nothing major, but they'll do an addendum. I thought they were doing it today, so I reached out, but they're doing it on Wednesday. And I know that there's still lots of interest out there, so hopefully we'll get good prices. We'll discuss it at the next council meeting. Other than that, we really haven't met, just kind of waiting. And then we'll know if we're within the budget that we have fundraised. If not, and the fundraising committee will be meeting on the 12th. So we get the bids on Thursday, they'll meet on the following Tuesday so that we know if we have additional fundraising to do.
Good. Do you have anything?
I submitted a tree grant to the DNR to, you can get 50% funding for trees. So I submitted 3 at the dog park and 5 at the Oak Hill subdivision park. Which I'm not sure what their timing is, but it would be like getting $1,000 towards $2,000 worth of trees, so it'd be something.
That's good.
And then Wednesday of this week, I have to turn in the dog park grant and the daycare planning grant, so I'm working on those.
Can I go back to the tree thing really quick? I apologize for not bringing this up earlier, because somebody suggested this to me over the last 2 weeks, and I thought it was a really great idea, but because of all these trees that are having to be taken down, is there something like, could the city purchase so many trees, or is there a grant out there that we could then give them a tree to plant in that place? Just because we are gonna lose, like, our downtown is so beautiful with the trees, and in a couple years, it's gonna end up being like a big concrete jungle eventually without any of the trees because they're being taken down. So if we could figure something out, I would really like to help with that.
Or something even for us to do is we could maybe buy it in bulk and get it cheaper.
And get them a better price.
And then
Yeah.
sell them to the individuals too.
Mhm.
'Cause
Fine.
I'm still sure there's other places on city property that we should probably be replacing trees.
You could find out how many are interested and see what kind of numbers you'd have to do a bulk purchase.
I mean, is that something we could put in the letter when we have to send out letters?
See if there's interest.
Yeah, I mean, we can say, yeah, I would probably just not say it like, oh, we will, but council has discussed the possibility, and if you're interested, we'd like to know.
Yeah, because I really am concerned about that.
Because it takes a long time to
Yeah.
grow.
And there's some that are faster growing, so,
That's why people planted ashes.
and we have a lot of them.
I mean, in the past, the utility company used to do it in spring.
They did a program at one point,
Who did it? I'm sorry, Bill?
the utilities.
Utilities used to,
A lot of electric utilities do.
used to do a program every spring, I believe.
But weren't
And-
they putting them on public land?
I
No,
don't
no.
think
it's
so.
private.
It was
People
private.
would sign up and,
Yeah.
Because ultimately, it should save on heating, cooling costs
Mhm.
eventually, because you keep it out of the
Yeah.
sun.
but at least where they were getting them or how the program worked.
I
There
can
may,
ask Chantel on the
there
board.
may still be something in place for that.
Yeah.
And I
Sorry,
think the
Lisa, I
DNR
hate
had
to
a big
warn you.
program
you're
a
fine.
couple years ago
Mhm.
after the derecho, so I don't know if that's still in place. I don't know if we qualify for it, but it might be worth it too.
Yeah.
No, it's a good discussion to bring up, because, I mean, I feel the same way. That was one of the things I'd like to see our neighborhood get more of. is trees.
Absolutely. A little birdie just said that there is a tree rebate through CMU. So.
That little bird sent that to me, too.
Oh, God, that's good.
So maybe if we could have more information on that for next.
Yeah, we can send it
meeting.
with it, or just even send, like, if there's an actual rebate already in place, then we can send that with the letters.
Okay, that'd be great.
There's an organization called Trees Forever as well, that is very
Yeah.
active in Iowa. So
Yep,
maybe
that's where we got,
Source for.
that was the group that Bill got the award from, remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
McCarthy.
awesome.
Yep.
That was Trees Forever.
Great.
If there's nothing else, I need
Oh,
public.
A couple more things.
You got
Wait,
Sorry,
is
I
that-
hijacked her report.
Oh, you're fine. We had our levy inspection from the Corps of Engineers, which happens every 5 years, and they said we were one of 2 levies in the state that are 100% compliant with whatever we're supposed to be doing. So kudos to us that built it a long time ago and Public Works for continuing to maintain it properly.
That's good.
There is a debt certification report that we're required to submit every year by the end of August, and Kathy submitted that last week, so we are done with that. All the other reports that are due will be due December 1, so that's like the urban renewal, state financial report, things like that. So we'll bring, some of those have to be acted on by the council, but the debt one is just a summary of what our current debt is. So Kathy got that done, so thanks to her.
Good job.
Good job, Kathy.
And I think that was all I had on my list, which I didn't bring with me.
I got 2 things.
Mhm.
They're still fundraising for the Oak Hill subdivision.
Yes.
Playground equipment. Made good progress so far, but there's still some funds to be raised. And then, have we heard anything else on the pump?
No, we're just waiting for them.
Okay.
Come back.
Yeah, like they have to prioritize places that are not functioning above we're functioning. So, he's talking about the well.
Mhm.
So, yeah. And then the fundraising that he was talking about for Oak Hill, we're at about, I think, 10,000 that we need. So we're promoting that that needs to be collected by September 15th. And then we'll have our council meeting on the 25th, and that's the latest that you can have council consideration to purchase the equipment. So we'll plan to have it on that agenda. Give you an update and see if we want to proceed. I think the park board, because of Labor Day, they would have met that on Labor Day, and so they were just going to hold off their meeting until the 25th, and they'll meet at like 5 o'clock before council that night. That's all I have.
Good, thank you. At this point, we'll have public comment. You have a limit of 3 minutes per person, and only items on this agenda.
The tree thing, the city of Cascade gives out tons and tons of money through TIF. I think this is a perfect opportunity to help homeowners who might be in real trouble, as you said, and I'm really glad you said that again tonight, Megan. That's really important. Also, the other ordinance that you passed, if there's a 4-day weekend and somebody wants to have a garage sale, and people may be doing this because they're in financial trouble. I mean, and that's the right thing. That's the American way, raise some money. They should at least be able to have a garage sale on a 4-day weekend, and I mean, the version I saw of it, it's limited to 3 days, right?
It is, yes.
I mean, if there's a 4-day, that's a perfect opportunity for someone. And that should probably be included.
Thank you. If there's nothing else for the betterment of the community, I need a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Hush,
Second.
second by Oliphant. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, everybody.
Are you box casting, Mike?
Yep.
Thank you.
Did you see what I